So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the.
All right, guys, good morning. How is everyone doing? Happy Thursday, February 15th. Good morning, good morning. We got some economic news to talk about, some pre-market earnings that we're going to touch on. We'll go over some meme stocks and whatever questions you guys have this morning. Let's get right into it. Grab your coffee, grab your kids, grab your wife. Let's go. Anya, good morning. Jeffrey, Chris, Annie, are you okay? Good morning. All right. On our slate for this morning, where is my economic news calendar? Let's move this over here where everybody can see it. If you were not watching the news this morning, we had initial jobless claims. We had the U.S. retail sales report. Both of those newsworthy news items today. We got Fed Governor Christopher Waller speaking at 1:15 today. Home Builder Confidence Index at 10 a.m. Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic tonight, 7 p.m. And then tomorrow, the main one I'll be watching tomorrow, Friday morning, the Producer Price Index, Core PPI. Let me hit a refresh on CNBC here. Still showing the pre-market. Come on, man. Anyways, European markets green this morning. Asian markets mostly green. Bitcoin soaring above 52,000 now. 53,000, I think it went above overnight, if I'm not mistaken. The SPY is taken off this morning. Looks like the Dow is green. Let's talk about this one first, even though the market is not really reacting to it. Retail sales tumbled almost 1% in January, much more than expected, actually 0.8% to be precise. Sales at building material and garden stores were particularly weak, sliding 4.1%. Miscellaneous stores sales fell 3%. And auto parts and retailers saw a 1.7% decrease. What else? What other little nuggets we got in here worth mentioning? They close by saying that the Fed officials have said they are satisfied enough with the prospects for both falling inflation and growth holding steady that the rate hiking cycle begun 2 years ago is likely over, but they are still watching the data closely. So we'll have to see if they say anything different as they go through their little speaking cycle, making the rounds. SPY is up slightly this morning. AMC is up almost 3%, 493. GameStop up almost 2%, 1466. Palantir holding flat at 2525. Our daily runners this morning, I did not update this chart. Let's do that real quick. JXJT Big move in pre-market. It is giving back half those gains, but still one to keep an eye on. JXJT, DXF, and I haven't looked at the news on these yet. CHNR. NNOX. None of them super exciting here in the first 15 minutes after the bell. JXJT was the big climber in pre-market today. Looking at the stocks that had earnings this morning, we had Crocs. Of the ones I was watching, Crocs is the only one that's in the green. That's funny because we were kind of laughing about Crocs last night. But Crocs is up 5%. John Deere down 4.5%. Oatly down almost now 13%. Boy, it's moving down. Let's put the ticker up for Oatly and see what the news was there. Penn down 10%, Wendy's down 3.5%, and Yeti down 10%. So let's see what Oatly had to say. Oatly shares drop after wider Q4 loss outweighs upbeat sales. So loss of 50 cents per share, while analysts had expected only 15. Ouch. Company, however, reports that Q4 revenues of $204 million, a surprise increase of 4.5% compared to analyst expectations of $191 million. So you increased sales and lost even more money than people were expecting. That is not what people want to hear. Oatly gives full 2024 revenue growth guidance of 5 to 10%. Oatly shares were down 32% in 2023. And it says have gained about 14%. I thought it said it had gained negative 14%. Let's look at the weekly on Oatly. I have never owned this stock. Not a big fan of vegan milk. Although the wife buys it from time to time. This thing got down to 39 cents from after the IPO, a few weeks after the IPO, $29 to 30 cents. Holy crap. JJ305, good morning. Atram, good morning. Jeffrey, how you doing? Jeffrey Graham. My Valentine's was very relaxing. I got, for the first night in a long time, a really good night's sleep. And it's not for the reason that you're thinking. We celebrated our Valentine's on Monday with the Anyone But You movie and some champagne. But I've been doing some outdoor work the past couple days, including another session yesterday, doing some work out in the yard. And tell you what, that extra exercise that you're not used to doing will help you get a good night's sleep. So instead of my normal go to bed at 3 a.m., I remember Anya asked me in Discord, hey, are you going to do a live tonight? I think that was around 9 o'clock. And I said, no, I'm feeling kind of tired. And the next thing I knew, I was asleep. I was asleep by 10 and slept till well after 8 a.m. this morning. So booyah for that. Anya says, don't pick on Oatly. I'm just reading the numbers, Anya. I'm sure they're fine people. And Scarlett does like their products too. I'm going to take a peek here at what their numbers look like, Anya, down here in the bottom screen. They were on a good run, Anya, but now they've flattened out for the last 4 quarters. Although they did, as we know, as we just read, they had a surprise increase in revenue for the most recent quarter, which is not reflected in this chart yet. But the net income story, that is the problem. This is why that stock has just been obliterated. Red, red, red. They have also diluted shareholders. Must have been running low on cash. Let's see. Yeah. They were burning through their cash, and like all companies do, when you start getting low on cash, you're either going to file bankruptcy, go take on some more debt, or dilute. So looks like they diluted and puffed up that balance sheet back to a level to give them some breathing room, much like AMC did. Working capital, they are just barely okay, but they're fine for now. And long-term debt, looks like they did double it a couple quarters ago. So I wonder if I don't know the story on this, but I wonder if they took on some debt for additional cash raise also. And nothing but negative free cash flow. Not a great story there, Anya. They need a little more work. Atrim says, the oat milk is tasty, but it is a commodity and an expensive commodity, I might add, right? I've seen the prices. When my wife buys that shit, I'm like, are you kidding me? You're gonna pay that for some oat water? I'll make you some oat water. Let's just make some oats and pour off the scum. And you can drink that. But yeah, you have to build up your customer base to justify those high prices. And I think the price of that stock, back when it went public, there were many companies that were IPOing at ridiculous valuations because money was easy and the market was hot. And now everything has come back down to reality. Blazing, good morning. He says, check out CRSP. Oh, and I want to talk about that Lunar also. Who mentioned Lunar on here the other day? Let me see what the deal is with this company. CRSP. Obviously a pharma. Based in Switzerland, CRISPR is a gene editing company focusing on developing gene-based medicines for various different diseases. It's Cas9 is a gene editing technology that allows for precise directed changes to genomic DNA. Interesting. I'm looking, it says they are going to present their fourth quarter and full year results, but it doesn't say the day. Was it today, Blazin? They're also they have an upcoming presentation at the City 2024 Virtual Oncology Summit. High on the IBD relative strength rating. Yeah, this company is really doing well in terms of price performance, Blazin. That's a good $37 in November, up to 86 right now. Let's take a quick look at their numbers. Obviously, it looks like they're not making money yet. CRSP. But like any pharma company, these things move on news, and boy, if they do come out with a product that they can sell, then it can become a quite interesting story. They had zero revenue in the most recent quarter. Net income has been negative. So this year, typical pharma play. We've all seen this story before. That's why I mostly avoid them. It's for me, trying to guess which one is going to run beforehand is always hard. But when you see one moving like this, you could hitch your car to that train and ride it till it stops, or until they have good news. Which it sounds, Blazin, by your comment, that is what you've been doing. In and out a few times for profit, holding some for long term. That I like to see. All right. We have been looking at ARM. I'm not in the trade. And let me pull up something for me to read here again. ARM running from $47 back in November, 75 at the beginning of this month, pushing up to 164, currently trading at 125. Sorry. This is an AI play. Let me see again, refresh my memory what they do. Semiconductors segment based out of the UK. Architects, develops, and licenses CPU products and related technologies for semiconductor companies. Yeah, that is the sweet spot right now that the market is focusing on, right? Anything related to, especially if it is related to AI. Graphics processing units, I see here in their products description. Company operates in the US, China, Taiwan, South Korea, and internationally. Speaking of, it's currently trending down this morning, but yeah, that's an interesting play to add on our AI list. NVIDIA this morning looks like the same exact chart. And Taiwan Semiconductor, I saw them in the news this morning, same chart. So all the AI slash semiconductor stocks are trending the same so far in the first 30 minutes or so here. Oh, another one I wanted to look at was let's talk about the runners. And let me get rid of this. Edit. We can get rid of ape. Beamer has been one that's BMR in the news for the past couple days. $1.37, pushing up to a top wick of $34.94. Let me zoom in to the hourly. It dropped down as low as $10 the next day, popped back up again to 21, and then in pre-market today it started bleeding out again. And so we're currently with a gap down and trending down on the 5-minute chart at 11:01. This was that one where some people on Twitter and YouTube were pushing the 1 million share IPO, having failed to fully read the prospectus, which is why I want you guys to at least take a minute and go try and read something before you believe something you hear in social media, including Reddit, Twitter, YouTube, Stock Twits, Webull Chat. The IPO was $1 million, but there was a secondary IPO, a resale IPO. It was clearly labeled at the top of the prospectus, and you had to open that prospectus up, read the IPO prospectus, and then tucked in at the bottom is the resale prospectus, which was for another 6 million shares. And so anyone that got in on that first day thinking that they were getting on a low float 1 million IPO was being misled. And the people that are pushing this stuff, I know them. They should effing know better. So I don't know if maybe they're just really not that smart or if they're purposely misleading people. I'll leave that for the viewers to discuss and decide. But at any rate, there was the ability for insiders holding the bulk of the shares, far more than 1 million, to sell them, to short them, to do all sorts of stuff. And so it got spanked after that IPO. People ran it up, and they let them run it up, and then it just got spanked. And everyone was like, how could this happen on 1 million shares? Well, it wasn't 1 million, first of all. It was easy to bring it back down. Fortunately, anyone that was bleeding had a chance to get out yesterday morning. It ran back up from 10 to 21. But it's having some trouble again this morning. Back down in the 10 range. Yeah, I wanted to look at DWAC. Thank you for bringing that up. Who was that? Blazem. As our good friend DJT looks like he's getting closer and closer to front running for the Republicans. This one has really taken off. God dang, I wish I would have bought some before January. $17 up to 58. I mean, Blazin, it's all for me. DWAC, buy, hold, trade. Whatever you do, it's going to be dependent on what happens with Trump. This is just a news-driven stock. If I was playing this one, Blazin, I'd be looking for in and out type opportunities. How high could it go? Let's go back and look. $92 was the high back in 2022. In my mind, entirely possible again. A free float of 28 million. You have enough news, you got enough momentum, you got enough people excited as the Trump momentum builds. There's not much holding this stock back. There's also not much propping it up. That's the flip side, right? You're hanging out there in the wind, I think, dependent on news. And of course, there will be people like us, Blazing, that are trading a stock like this on the chart. Stuper Steven, what's up? He says, check out CHNR. Oh, man. Can we still jump on this one? Shit. That thing's on fire. Oh, Lord. China Natural Resources. What is the news, Stephen? Lack of news. It's just a Chinese runner. 2.5 million free float. Hop on board, guys. We're going for a ride. Whoop, whoop. I keep on watching a few of my Chinese tickers, Stephen, in pre-market, waiting to see if this is the morning that one of them's going to run so I can hop on. This one was not on my list. Son of a bitch. And it didn't move him in pre-market this morning anyways. Although yesterday it was below $1. Now we're at 777. Good Lord. Good Lord. Oh yeah, Wired Ape. We know 100%. We talk about these. They're all Chinese pump and dumps, or as I call them, liquidity exits for some insiders. But knowing that, and I have a whole list of them. There is still an opportunity to make money, but you got to be in and out. If you had bought some of this, and let's say you bought 200 shares at $2 and it went up 100 or 200%, sell half of them, take your money back, and then just let the rest ride. I mean, these things can go to $30 or $40. You just got to get out when it turns, because it's going to slam back down. Everyone knows that they are scam companies. And I'm not advocating you go load up a bunch of money in these. But many of us in our discords are looking for quick in and out day trade opportunities. And you're not going to turn down a 700% runner. No one is, if you catch it early enough. And the reason I have my list of Chinese stocks is because on any given day, at any given moment, one of them is going to be the one in favor, and it's going to run. Yeah, let's be very clear. There's nothing about these companies that is compelling, other than the price action on the chart for the few minutes that you're in it. Other than that, get your money and get the F out. And the extra bold folks will hold a little bit. They'll get their money, get out, let a few shares ride for the moon. And sometimes, the moon on a stock like this could be $20-$30. We've seen a few run into the hundreds over the last year for no damn reason. Dr. Is it Zeus? Zeiss? I'm going to call you Dr. Z, likes Palantir. We like Palantir too, Dr. Z. I'm waiting for a re-entry point. I sold mine into the run-up, so I'm not holding. We have people in the viewer list here that have very low cost basis on Palantir that are still holding. I definitely plan on getting some more, but I said after I got out, I was going to watch it for a few days and see if it kind of finds a new base here or if it comes back down. I have my it soared above my fib levels, but I was buying back here when it dropped below the 38% level, just under $16 or around $16. And so I took the opportunity to get out on this push up. I've just been trading it. And now I'll wait and see what happens here. It could keep going up. It could come back down into the more normal levels. So I don't have any instructions for you. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'm waiting to see if it comes back down or consolidates here. AMC now over $5. Where's our oh my God! There we go. Over $5. I remember watching people on Twitter at 380 saying, my puts are printing. I hope you sold them, bitches. You naysayers, you negative Nellies. What's the percentage gain from $3.50 to $5? I know many people I talk to on social media and Discord were loading up between 350, 380. I grabbed some at 420. 42% you could be up right now if you were brave enough to think that we were at a low on the chart. That's not too shabby. I can't wait. Even last night at 480, I saw the emotional ones, the negative Nellies. It's only going down from here. Good Lord, people. Do you not realize your emotions are wrecking your decisions? You got to be cold-blooded. You're never going to win if you're an emotional basket case. You're never going to win. SPY cranking back up over 500 this morning too. GameStop up over 1.5%. AMC's pushing 4.5%. Keith's sitting in the delivery room waiting on our fourth child. Congratulations, Keith. Would love to see AMC over 15. We all would, Keith. My price target in the short term is not anywhere near that high, but I certainly would take it. I have been saying that I expect it to push up between a few days ago and earnings. We'll have to see if that continues and how high it can actually go versus the shorts wanting to punish it. But as I've been telling the folks in the Discord, if we can continue these small pushes up every day, then I think that the smaller shorts, like your retail buddies that are buying puts and shorting the stock with no real collateral to back their account, they're going to get flushed out. I don't know that bigger shorts are going to panic, but if you were shorting at $3.80 or $4 and it pushed up 20 or 40%, that's still a pretty big spanking. So some of those people are going to get out, and I'm just watching to see when the big money tries to end this run up, or if they're going to let it keep going. Do we have any news on AMC today? Well, 3 short squeeze stocks that could make your February unforgettable. Please say AMC. The AMC short interest continues to climb. Yeah, they don't really say much nice on here. They say, be careful, is what they say. Yeah, Anya, some of these guys are emotional basket cases. You add in 2 cups of conspiracy theory, Anya, a dash of negativity, and a tablespoon of emotional basket case. It makes for a really bad trader. Meanwhile, we're over here reading filings, understanding the balance sheet, trying to understand what the box office means to the company over not this week, not this quarter, the next 2 years, trying to figure out this play, trying to, using logic, understand the company's choices, why they're doing what they're doing, and what the long term looks like. There's no emotion for us in this trade. It's logic, it's deductive reasoning based on financials. And I feel that, in the long run, that considering where we're at right now, that gives us a much better chance of making good decisions. In the short term, it's going to get whipsawed by news and market. But in the long term, I think we'll be okay. Sprinkle in some paranoia, Dr. Z. Yes, there's quite a bit of paranoia. It's even, we could add a couple more secret ingredients. The secret ingredients are, if you don't agree with the data, make up your own data. And what was the other one? There's another one. Maybe I just combined 2 of them. These guys reject data. They reject things that are clearly in black and white because it doesn't fit their narrative. So I reject that. Hang on a second. Let me make up something completely the opposite. God. Oh my God. These people drive me nuts. I wish I could help them, but they're too far gone, guys. They're too far gone. They're beyond help. They blame it on crime, Chris. Yeah. I think Larry's trying to say he doesn't agree that AMC is logic. It is very logical, Larry. There's a logical explanation for everything. I'm not going to go through all of it again. There's a concerted effort to sell off the stock and push it down, but there's a logical reason why that is happening. That's what I'm saying. It's 2 things. It's balance sheet. 3 things: balance sheet, risk of dilution. 4 things. We got to get the debt restructuring behind us, and we got to look at the box office for the next 18, 24 months. If you put all of those things in black and white in front of your face and you understand finance, it's very logical why AMC's where it's at. And we on this channel, and anyone who regularly talks to me, made that pivot of getting out of the short squeeze bucket, the 2021 short squeeze bucket, stomping those grapes. We had to step out of that bucket and step over into this one, saying that didn't happen. We better fucking understand this play so that we can position for what's going to happen, which is the company's going to need to raise cash. Price is going to get driven down. And we want to then, having understood the play, pick the best new entry point and be patient. And then pray that the box office goes up as anticipated between now and end of 2025, and the AMC does not have to do any more cash raises, which is why we're really hyper focused on Q4 and Q1 box office cash burn. I'm hyper focused more than anything. I'm going to be watching AMC's cash position and how much they're burning, because my biggest fear, I'm very positive, but my biggest fear is that the cash burn will be higher than I anticipate, and then AMC gets nervous and says they need to raise more cash. So I hope that's not the case, but that's what I'm watching really closely. Wired Ape, thank you. Wired Ape says AMC is very logical and it sits on the extreme lines because of the size of its audience and the disparity in their belief system, right, Wired? The balance sheets don't lie. The 10Qs don't lie either. I'll add that in there. I mean, we can have people, Wired, as you know, look at one 10Q like me and say, this was not very good. And we can look at it, have another one look at, they don't look at the 10Q. They look at a tweet from Adam Aaron and say, Saturday was the biggest popcorn sales day in history. I don't understand why this company's losing money. You know the YouTubers that say that. Saturday was the biggest popcorn sales in history. I don't know why this company's losing money. Because your deductive ability for the entire year of this stock is reference to one tweet about popcorn sales on one day. You are never going to win with that logic. Good Lord, BMR, thank you for calling that one out. It got smashed again and halted on the way down. Larry says the Enron crash was logical. The Enron was crime. It was deceptive bookkeeping. And yeah, there's people that are accusing AMC of that too. The same people that are negative, hate the company, anti-Semitic. I don't give their opinion much weight when I look at their profile and I see nothing but negativity, anti-Semitism, death threats. It tells me that something is flawed in their approach to dealing with people or life in general, much less finance. And I would encourage you guys to look for a balanced person to be getting your information from, not a bunch of paranoid, anti-Zionist people haters. It's a bad crowd to run with to get your, unless you just want somebody to hug you and tell you that, you know, your feelings are correct. You're going to surround yourself with a bunch of people making bad guesses about what is next. Smooth Operator, good morning. Yeah, in light of going back to Enron, in light of illegal bookkeeping, what were they doing? Creating shell companies and I forget all of the exact details. It's been a couple years, Larry, but in light of that, the crash was very logical. Yeah. It just took people a while to uncover it, unfortunately. I have some distant memories of the Enron crash happening in real time, and the general employees, even that worked there, were in shock. They show up for work one day and pack your box, we're done. Have a good time at your tournament, Larry. Enjoy, please. BMR now down 42% this morning. Let's look at a few other retail stocks. Oh, and I wanted to look at Lunar also. Someone, thank you. I don't remember who it was. One of you guys called this play out earlier this week. And for any of you that paid attention, thanks to that call out from one of our viewers, because I was not aware of this, but this company, Intuitive Machines, we discussed it when we got the call out. They had some technology on the SpaceX launch, and we discussed that it might get some run up this week due to press, and that press happened today. Intuitive Machines lunar lander en route to the moon 1 hour ago. All through the news here this morning, and the stock is now up 14%. It was up more than 14%. It's coming down now from 625. So nice little anticipation of news on that play. And hat tip to the gentleman who called it out. I wish I could remember who it was. Wanted to look at some other retail stocks. Oh, I know what ones I wanted to look at. Finger, FNGR, not in the play. I'm just tracking it because so many people are fascinated by it for some reason. It's still hanging out around 239. Its partner in crime, GTII, stuck around 20 cents. Hawaii Electric is one that we've been talking about for many months since the fire. That one is back over $13 this morning. That being a speculative play for those that are trading it. It's either going to go bankrupt or not and go back. If it doesn't, it could trend back up into the high 30s, all depending on the lawsuit that they are dealing with right now. So that is one to take a look at if you're a degenerate gambler like many of us are. Hycroft Mining is at $2, back over $2 this morning. Palantir in the red. Riley, B. Riley is a target of short sellers, activist short sellers, actively trying to push this price down. It has dropped to 1806, down 5.5% this morning. Shot, the safety shot company, got a little bit of price push up into Super Bowl, and then that was a buy the rumor, sell the news type thing. Back down now to $2.50. I'm still waiting to hear the double-blind placebo results on that one before I go back into it. And what else? Tesla is up. Very nice. 194 this morning. I grabbed some additional. I have a position in Tesla. Grab some extra around the low 180s. I would love for it to fall to 150 or 115 even, so I could add more, but I'm slowly trying to increase my Tesla position. Oh, and ZJYL. Let's see what's going on with this one. Consolidating in the 850 range. This was another one of those crazy Chinese runners. Couple bucks up to $25. Been a lot of volatility, hanging out here for Past couple days around $8.50, and I think we know how this one's going to end. But in the meantime, it's definitely an interesting one to watch. Theater stocks in general. How's our other competition doing? AMC is up 1.5%, back down now to 487. Cinemark 1616 up 2.5%. They are on a nice daily climb. Their earnings tomorrow, by the way, guys, pre-market. And I have a live stream scheduled. Let me just 8:30 a.m. Eastern, so that'll be 7:30 a.m. Central. I will be hosting a live stream starting at 7:30 a.m. Central tomorrow, maybe even before that, to go through Cinemark's earnings, to hear what their executives have to say, to hear what analysts are asking Cinemark. Being mostly a institutional company, the set of questions you get are going to be very different than what AMC investors and analysts ask. So I always like to listen in on those. I think, whether you're holding one or the other or both, it's good to pay attention to the competition, hear what they're thinking, hear what they're saying. This company is widely misunderstood by AMC investors, which is one reason I started covering it, so we could look at comparisons between the two. That I think is important to do. And we got Paramount down 2.7% this morning. IMAX flat at 1460. Beamer kept catching a bounce off of $9, now at 10.13. Can we do a quick look at MRVL? Yes, we can, Blazin', my friend. Hang on one second. Let me pull up the financials down here. Another company in the semiconductor industry. Let's see what their numbers look like. Blazin'. Analysts have a average price target of $70 with a range of 50 to 100. Let's see what the most recent upgrades were. So we got 4 analyst updates in the last month, $75 to $80. So I think that's a good sense of what the experts are thinking. Let's see how their numbers look on a quarterly basis. Nice revenue chart. Operating income suffering over the last 3 quarters despite that growing revenue. Net income, same, a lot of red there for the past several years. Balance sheet looks okay. How are they surviving losing money like this? That is the question. So they have their upcoming call on March 7th. You probably know that, Blazin. And earnings. Why Marvel just dethroned Nvidia as Citi's top chip stock pick. Let's just see what they say, because I'm not familiar with this company, but looks like another one we need to add to our AI watch list. And if it is an AI play, and if that industry continues to grow, then I'm guessing that people are buying this stock thinking that they can get it profitable. Yeah, the analyst talking about it here is just bullish on the AI industry and Marvel's participation in that. What I see here, Blazin, is, yeah, it's a news-driven price reaction right now. News, slash just being in the AI segment. And they certainly are making, they're making plenty of money. They're making increasing revenues, which is good to see, but I worry about that negative net income. It's only $160 million. They were last profitable about a year ago, middle of 2022. So if they flip those numbers green, then I think you're safe. On the 2 quarters that they were profitable, they just barely eked out a profit. I see 3 quarters that had a profit, one with $4 million, one with $6 million, and one with $13 million. And when they lose, they tend to lose in a big way. $160 to $200 million losses. King Louis, good morning. He says, I feel like the SPY is going to have a pretty big move up or down. That is the big bet right now, my friend. Which one is it going to do? And much like you, I think a lot of people feel the same way. Either we're gonna keep on cruising up if somebody from the Fed doesn't tank us with bad news, or there's going to be that spark of bad news that sends it crashing down. What's it going to be? Place your bets, folks, red or black. All right, we're going to wrap up here the morning session in about 2 minutes so I can finish project number 1 out in the backyard. I am going to finish it today. It's 75% complete. This weekend or next week, I'll move on to project number 2. We've got at least 3 or 4 big outdoor projects in the plans for the next month. Getting everything ready for spring planting. And if you want to keep up on that, if you have other hobbies besides investing, you can drop a sub over on my other channel, which I started in 2020 when we were all just sitting home with nothing to do. Thanks to China. That one is Texas Organic Gardening. And I have not been updating that channel because I've been so busy over here, but in light of the amount of work that I have to go on, there's a lot of great content that we're going to be putting out. So go watch the first video from this week, a quick recap of everything that's broken, and you'll get an idea of what I'm going to be working on for the next couple weeks when I'm not sitting here watching charts, trying to make money. Let's see if we got any last minute news on CNBC to talk about. Anything that's come up in the last hour. I think we've covered all the major headlines for this morning. I don't see anything new. This afternoon at market close, we got a lot to keep eyes on. We'll be looking, I'll hang out after market close today because these definitely some that I want to talk with you guys about as the results come in. And before we talk about those, let's just see how the pre-market ones were doing. Yeah, they're all majorly in the red, the ones I was watching this morning, except for Crocs, which is the one I was laughing at yesterday. John Deere, Oatly, Penn, Wendy's, and Yeti all getting spanked this morning on their pre-market earnings. After the market closes, we got DraftKings, Coinbase, Roku, Trade Desk, Applied Materials, DoorDash, Toast, and Open Door. A lot of those being, some of those being newer companies, 2021 darlings. So I'm very curious what they're going to have to say after the market closes. So we'll hang out as we go into market close. I'll be back at 2 Central, 3 Eastern, and probably be online for a couple hours with you guys live. I will be checking Discord and the charts during the middle of the day on my rest breaks of finishing up my outdoor project. Maggie, good morning. What put a B up? Why did AMC go up over $5? No particular news, Maggie. Other than I just in general have been expecting once we hit a bottom somewhere around $4, as long as AMC didn't announce any more debt for equity deals or dilution, which I didn't think that they were going to. As long as they don't do that, and as long as the market doesn't crash, that we would get some upward momentum between now and earnings on the 28th. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that DD holds true. That's just my opinion, my read on what's going to happen. Doesn't mean that I'm going to be right, but that's how I'm playing it. And so we just cross our fingers every day that we can put a little bit of green on the board every day. We're down now to under 1% green on AMC, 484. GameStop also coming down. It's at 1444. SPY kind of sold off a little bit from that over 500 runoff. So as I'm looking at the charts, they're all kind of basically following the index. And we'll have to wait and see how the day ends up. I'll be checking in from time to time on these charts. Like I said, on my rest breaks, and I will be back with you guys in about 4 hours. So thank you for tuning in this morning. Happy trading. May the gods be with you, both the old and the new. And we'll see you back in a couple.